Caitlin Clark stopped at her high school to say hello, only to run into a non-age friend she no way allowed she'd see again. What happened next was unthinkable. Emily Turner stood in frontal of the classroom tutoring the scholars the final assignment of the day. As she explained a calculation problem, Emily's marker gently stroked the board while the scholars heeded attentively, but at the back, some scholars rumored and chortled, abstracting Emily from what she was explaining. Labels were not as real as she allowed. They were pristine. "What's going on?" Emily turned to ask the class as loud horse-laugh erupted. She goggled at them with a stern aspect, and the horse-laugh snappily stopped. Emily wanted to inquire further, but the academy bell chimed. It was closing time. The scholars' noise grew louder as they rushed out of the classroom. "I am not meant to be." Then Emily rumored under her breath, but what could she do about it? "Eventually, the day is over," Emily said as she sank into her president. The classroom was now silent with her, each alone. Emily took out her phone to check her dispatches as Trainer Henderson, an aged woman in her 60s, walked in. "Hey, Emily, how was class?" "Moment, Trainer." Henderson asked. Emily looked up from her phone and jounced it was okay, but these kiddies are stressful. Trainer Henderson laughed and told Emily, "You were worse during your time. I flash back how you used to drive your preceptors crazy. You were one of the truculent scholars back. Also," Emily shook her head, "I was not like these scholars I educate," she said. Trainer Henderson chortled. "Well, I have got some instigative news, Emily, and you will not believe what I am about to say. Do you flash back Caitlin Clark?" Emily goggled blankly at the trainer, trying to recall the name, but also shook her head. "No, I doon't flash back anyone with that name, Trainer." Henderson was shocked. "How can you not flash back Caitlin Clark?" "Anyhow, I will help jog your memory," the trainer said. Still, Emily's expression remained unchanged. Trainer Henderson couldn't believe what Emily was saying, so she took out her phone, scrolling through her film land. She showed Emily a print of Caitlin Clark in an Iowa hockey jersey. "Do you flash back?" Caitlin now. "She was your classmate in high academy. You two were stylish musketeers. I was your basketball trainer back. Also, flash back." Emily's face changed as she eventually flashed back. She returned the trainer's phone, and recollections of Caitlin swamped her mind. Recollections of walking together through the academy halls and playing on the basketball court. "Joe, what about Caitlin?" Emily asked. "She's coming to the basketball game on Friday." Trainer Henderson explained she had reached out to Caitlin on Instagram to see if the rising basketball star flashed back. Her old coach unexpectedly, Caitlin replied and told her she would be in city for the game. "This is great news," Emily said as Trainer Henderson prompted her not to miss the game on Friday. Emily sat each alone in the empty classroom with the trainer's words echoing in her mind. Caitlin Clark was coming to Eastwood High Academy on Friday. This was unanticipated, and the study of it made her heart race, not with excitement, but with anxiety. Emily picked up her phone and compartmented Caitlin Clark in a web hunt. Within seconds, innumerous filmland of Caitlin filled the screen. Emily named one and goggled at it. There was her old classmate, Caitlin Clark, now one of the biggest council basketball stars in the country. How could she have ever forgotten her? Emily recalled their high academy days right then at Eastwood High, the same academy where she was now a school teacher. She allowed about the hours they spent together on the basketball court, sharing dreams of playing in the NCAA or indeed going pro, but having dreams was not enough. Caitlin had gone to play council basketball at Iowa, while Emily had gone to a state university on an education she was also chasing, her dreams of playing basketball. But along the way, life threw her a curveball. Weather went to Boston and Wyoming. What happened? Keep watching to find out. Emily and her musketeers had gone out partying to celebrate a teammate's birthday. They didn't drink too important. But on their way home, their auto skidded off the road and slammed into a tree as the motorist lost control. Everyone in the auto sustained injuries, but Emily's were the most severe. It was her knee, the injury was ruinous, and took over 6 months to heal. Still, Emily was not the same after that. You will walk, Emily, but you will not be suitable to play basketball at a professional position. The croaker told her Emily could not believe her cognizance. She argued with the croaker and was determined to prove him wrong after months of recovery. She eventually returned to the court, but every time she jumped or landed, pain shot through her knee. She knew she was not fit to play. Presently, she blubbed for weeks, knowing her dreams of playing professional basketball were over. Ultimately, the academy abandoned her education. Emily prepared to quit her job lately. His family, too, had been brought to the cliff and the destruction of everything they had erected. Ultimately, Emily set up herself tutoring at Eastwood High. Thankful the star had offered her a job just 1 month. Ego, it was her only means of survival latterly that evening. Emily scrolled through Caitlin Clark's Instagram runner. Her feed was filled with filmland of luxurious homes, charity events, glories, and fests. The images transferred a cold bite through. Emily, what would Caitlin suppose of her? Now would she indeed fate her old friend? Emily asked herself these questions, soughing deeply. She was not sure she wanted to see Caitlin or any of her old classmates shoving her phone into her fund. Emily stood up and headed to the basketball locker room. It was empty, so she snappily undressed and ran into the showers to clean up. This had come her nocturnal routine after academy. She would rain before heading to the sanctum where she slept. But this time. Emily stayed longer in the shower, lost in her studies about Caitlin and what could have been if she had not injured her knee. Suddenly, the sound of womanish voices snapped Emily out of her studies. She set her heart pounding. The voices grew, louder and closer. "What are they doing in the locker room?" Emily rumored to herself. "Let's check the showers," one of the girls said. Scarifying, Emily snappily slammed the shower door with her hand. The girl screamed and ran out laughing. That was close, Emily murmured. Relieved, she snappily got dressed and left the academy structure, realizing she demanded to find another place to bathe before she got caught as she walked into the cool evening air. Her studies drifted back to Caitlin. Friday was only a many days down, and Emily still hadn't figured out how to avoid the basketball game. Emily walked over to the library and buried herself in preparing assignments for the coming day, hoping it would distract her, but no matter how hard. She tried to concentrate her mind, kept replaying recollections of Caitlin and their time together, frustrated. Emily closed her book and headed to the sanctum where she was staying when she arrived. Emily saluted the other residers and went to her usual corner. The room was crowded with mats and robes scattered all over the bottom. She laid down, pulling a thin mask over herself as she goggled up at the seat. In this time, she didn't fight the recollections of Caitlin. Ultimately, she drifted off to sleep. The days passed snappily, and soon game day arrived. The academy buzzed with excitement about Caitlin Clark's visit and the big basketball game. Meanwhile, Emily tried to keep her head down, rushing through her assignments in class. Her plan was simple: finish the day and leave before anyone could move her to attend the game. When the ending bell chimed, Emily breathed a shriek of relief as her scholars packed their bags and her out of the classroom. But just as she was about to leave, trainer Henderson appeared at the door. "Emily, how was class moment?" the trainer asked. "Fine," Emily replied, keeping her answer short. "I hope you're not planning to miss the game tonight." "Trainer," Henderson said, with a knowing smile, flashback. "Your old friend is coming." Emily forced a nod. Indeed, though she had no intention of attending, she stayed in her classroom for another hour, hoping the excitement would die down before she left. Eventually, she seized her bag and headed to the locker room for a quick shower, allowing most scholars would either be gone or at the spa, but commodity unanticipated happened. As Emily was about to undress, she heard a deep, familiar voice in the locker room. Her heart contended as she honored the other voice. It was Trainer Henderson. It was too late for her to hide. Standing right in front of her was a altitudinous, athletic woman with a friendly smile. Caitlin Clark Emily sat, gaping at Caitlin as silence filled the locker room. "You look familiar, Caitlin," said, tipping her head as if trying to place Emily's face trainer. "Who is she?" Caitlin asked again, turning to trainer Henderson. "That is Emily Turner," the trainer replied. Caitlin's eyes widened in surprise. "No way!" She blatted, a big grin spreading across. Her face, Emily, I can't believe it. Before Emily could say anything, Caitlin pulled her into a warm clinch. "What are you doing then, Emily?" Caitlin asked, still smiling. Emily dithered, doubtful of how to answer, but trainer Henderson stepped in. "She's a fourth-grade school teacher then." Now the trainer explained. Tutoring, Caitlin said. "Surprised that was not your thing." "Emily, we have a lot to catch up on, but that can stay. Come on, let's go. Address the platoon together." Emily tried to decline, but Caitlin wouldn't take no for an answer together. They went to the spa where Caitlin spoke to the platoon with Emily by her side. Caitlin participated stories of her high academy days and talked about how she and Emily used to play basketball together. The scholars were amazed M. Turner played with Caitlin Clark. They rumored among themselves. After the Vim talk, the game began. Caitlin made sure Emily sat next to her throughout the game. They laughed, gabbled about the players, and cheered together as the platoon played at the end of the game. The Academy's platoon won, and the crowd erupted in cheers after the game. Caitlin,